it's funny. Most men don't talk a lot anyway. We're not going to say a lot. We're not going to have a lot of conversation. But ladies, when we do talk, you got to listen. Because another thing about a man doesn't like to repeat himself multiple times. We can't stand that shit. And I'm sure she did the right thing by letting him know that marriage is in her works. That's what she wants. Okay, that's cool. He knows this. He's willing to accept that. He stayed with the woman. He was still with the woman. But when it got to the point, and I'm telling you what happened. He shared his plan. He probably shared it twice. But that third time, it's just like, I ain't got time for this. Now I'm going through the death of a family member, which is my brother. He's taking it hard. I think somebody said, it's kind of hard to share it because it's obvious she likes to talk a lot. And talk a lot to the point of where she's talking to anybody who will listen. Because she's shown it when she went there and went to his family, inquiring about it. So now everybody knows what's going on. I'm a man who don't like that. It's a circle of two with me and my lady. Everybody don't need to be putting their hands in my stew because you're going to mess up my stew. Don't fuck up my stew. So get your hands out of it. Everybody don't need to be knowing our business. If we going to work some shit out, we're going to work it out together. And more than likely, that's what he probably had that same type mindset. Why are you telling my family? So now they got into an argument about it. She said we argued for a while. For 2 weeks, she didn't talk to him. They got back. She said after they had an argument, a day later, they had another argument. Yeah, she's chaotic. She's chaotic. But he probably stayed around, just like that other chick stayed around because he had some good D. She got that crazy woman putty. And so he stayed around for the good putty. But he said, I just can't take it no more. I'm out. Unlike the other woman who probably stayed around and wrote that Dear Sally letter, he said, I'm out. I'm done with her. And he walked away and he moved on. And guess what? Did that death of the brother maybe help focus? Probably did. You know why? Because the brother was probably encouraging him to go finish and get his degree. He was probably that driving force. Hey, bro, I want to see you graduate. I want to be there for you. Unfortunately, he didn't get to make it. But that didn't stop him from accomplishing the dream that him and his brother had for him. And so he finished the degree. She's on the outside looking in. Now, guess what? She done fat the frog for them other snakes to eat. Them other girls going to come in and get that man and going to ride on his team, going to do everything he needs them to do. And she's on the outside looking in. It's cold on the outside looking in. But that's a consequence you got to suffer because she found some way to mess it up.
Precious, can I ask you a question? Okay. It might be beneficial to play the video again, just for it, because I have some things to say, and I know after a while, everybody talking, we might have missed something. But I don't disagree. Go ahead.
I can play it again. I just wanted to welcome Lapeef. How are you?
Hey, Lapeef, what's going on, brother?
So in other words, long-winded. That's what he's trying to say. I got you all, Pain. Way to set it up.
Less than a minute.
Turn your hearing aid up this time, okay, Arpain?
Oh my
God. These guys, I take a lot of abuse, man. Ages. You guys are ages.
All right.
All right. It is from Anonymous. She says, I'm writing in because I'm currently having a difficult time with my boyfriend of 2.5 years. I'm in my early 30s. He is in his late 30s. When we got together, I made it clear to him that I was dating intentionally for marriage and that I want to have kids in the future. He said he wanted that as well. However, based on the experience in the second year of our relationship, I now have doubt in my mind on whether or not we are truly in alignment. We both experienced a lot in our lives before and since meeting, including his brother suddenly passing away. I was very supportive, created safety for him to share his grief, but I feel that there are trust issues that won't allow him to be vulnerable with me when he's going through things. He only wants to discuss the good experiences. We had a tough time earlier this year, and his inability to be vulnerable caused me to consider ending the relationship, but I gave him another chance to show me differently. I'm a direct communicator, and I'm not afraid to admit my faults or mistakes. He struggles with this as well. and making certain life decisions, especially when they involve someone else. For months now, we've been talking about moving in together, but almost every conversation has been initiated by me. I brought it up again recently, as well as other concerns, to make sure we were on the same page, but we weren't. And now he is saying we have to delay moving in together, and he just doesn't understand my concerns. I was surprised but pissed, because had I not brought it up, would he just be thinking that things are great between us and that I'm happy in this relationship? This conversation turned into an argument where he was defensive, and all he kept saying was, I have a lot going on now. We saw each other once after this argument, had another argument the day after, and we haven't spoken since. It's been over 2 weeks. I reached out to his family after both disagreements to try to get an understanding of where his head is, and I'm left confused and hurt. I've watched him get his second bachelor's degree, and now he's in grad school for the next 3 years. He never told me that he thought I was in the way of him achieving his educational and career goals, and it's really hurting me that the things he once told me he wanted were seemingly based on lies and delusion. At this point, I feel he is showing me exactly how he feels about me. I don't think I should be the one going after him, because I feel I'd be enabling his passive behavior, and as a woman, I don't think I should be chasing a man. I've been compassionate, giving him grace, and had time to improve and work on himself. I'm trying to be optimistic that things will work out ultimately. I know I cannot force it, and I will accept it if this is not what he wants and move on with my life. But do you think we can repair things from this point, or should we just go our separate ways? How is it possible that someone can just switch up their future plans and focus in life and not communicate any of that to their partner? Do you have any suggestions for communicating with someone who is avoidant and emotionally immature? Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
She made some of that up. Some of what she's saying that guy's thinking and doing, that's just her.
I'm glad
Guaranteed.
you played it again. I'm glad you played it again.
Yeah. Some of that ain't that dude. Some of the things she's claiming is going on. Some of that's her. You know what I'm saying? Some of that's her. Because
Well, what do you mean some of it's her?
the conclusion she's drawing. What this guy's behavior tells her that his plans changed.
Okay.
For one,
I wasn't understanding that part either.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Like what in this guy's behavior told her he got his second degree and now he's in grad school. Sounds like a solid plan to me. And it sounds like he's following it to the letter. So what about this plan didn't she understand?
Right.
And let's say our plan he course corrected.
Well, hold on.
Or shifted gears.
Let's even speak. You guys are jumping and you guys had your chance. I asked for her to play it again so we could hear it again, but everybody's talking but me. All right, so
okay, you want to go ahead.
I'm gonna be real quick because I don't like the narrative that I'm long-winded. So I took 15 seconds just to say that shit.
It's not a narrative, it's a fact.
The one thing I'm gonna say is one thing that we're missing. I don't disagree with any of what you guys are saying. If a man's not ready to marry a woman, he shouldn't feel obligated to marry her just because what she wants. Men are the gatekeepers. If you're not comfortable with the woman that's you're courting, do not marry her. That's all I gotta say. That's number one. Number two, I can see her sense of urgency because if you listen, she was 32 when they started dating. Now she's 34, 35. Her options are going down every single year. Every single year, because now she's in geriatric pregnancy. And the men that she might want are not checking for her. So the longer she stays with this dude, the lesser her options are. That's what we say on these stupid panels all the time. So she might be feeling that, because she's going to be 35. So she's desperate. She's getting desperation is building. Now, I'm not saying she's right and he's wrong, but I can see where she's coming from. So a woman at a certain age shouldn't be hitching her wagon to a man who's not ready to marry her because she don't have the time to waste. I tell women that all the time. If she was 25, I can dig it. But at 33, no. Because let me tell you, I don't give a shit what none of these men say. If you have a woman you want to marry, it don't take 5, 4, or 3 freaking years. If you want to lock her down, it doesn't take that long to do it. So let's just stop with the cat. So her time and your time is not the same. I'll just land it there.
It's shown that she was fully disingenuous. She didn't point out anything that she did incorrectly within that given situation. But she took that whole Dear Abby letter to point out the things he wasn't doing, even close quote his immaturity, his intellectual immaturity. I think when a woman talks to you so much and tries to impose her will and she's not aligned with you, men shut down too. We have constant arguments. I reached out to his family, like King said. What happens in our house stays in our house. She was pressuring. I get this. You could say geriatric. She's in her 30s. She's, oh, I don't want to make
But you said
35.
it doesn't
And,
matter.
I want to be married.
You said
And
that doesn't
I,
matter.
okay, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Her point was made when she showed that she reached out not only to his family, she would even put him on blast on a public forum to show that she she didn't have a problem. He did. But his life flourished after making space from her. It doesn't make sense. She wanted what she wanted and she imposed her will. He was still going through what he was going through, but nonetheless, her priorities trumped that. That's what she didn't want to tell you.
I
Those,
heard all that, brother.
those arguments didn't
Her
come from anywhere.
desperation
I
made her
land
do
right there.
different things. Her
Was
desperation.
anybody else annoyed by the letter?
Well, let me ask you a question.
No, hang on, RP. You had your
Well,
time.
no,
You had your
just say the
time.
question.
You had your time. You had your time. Is anybody else annoyed by the letter?
I was annoyed by the letter.
Imagine having to sit in a room with her and talk to her. The letter was long. She detailed a bunch of stuff about him, never said anything about herself. Meanwhile, while saying that she has no problems admitting her faults. So when you going to admit them? You wrote this long letter and never once said what your faults were.
Facts.
Well, she did. She just didn't
She
really.
didn't.
No, well, I mean, you have to read between the lines, right?
Okay.
Okay, what did I miss, Precious?
So reading between the lines in which she's saying that he's doing or he's not doing, she is not giving him the space to be the man that he's becoming. See, a lot of women want men to be ready-made and done and come to the relationship just ready to go. Marry me today.
Assemble, yeah.
I want marriage, you want marriage, let's go. But again, it seems as though he has a plan. And so within his plan, again, his brother passed away suddenly. Within his plan, you have to study a man enough, because at the end of the video, she says, "Can you give me advice for avoidant immature?" What did she say? Avoidant,
Intellectually immature men.
immature man, right? So in her, and he is showing a lot of avoidant characteristics, right? He's not wanting to talk to her. He's not. They're arguing, and she is
because
not,
she's annoying,
right? But she is not allowing the space to analyze. Like, okay, it's not a good time to talk to him, or he doesn't want to talk about this. She wants things. I think our pain said it. It's a timing thing. It's his time versus her time, and she wants it done in her time, and he has things that he wants to accomplish and get done in his time. Now, if you want to be married, you love this man, you want to be with this man, don't you think that you should support him in the time that he's taking to actually become the man that you actually want to marry?